Finding and elevating your style can be a complicated topic, but today I want to simplify everything and I want to share my simple 3-step method I personally use to elevate my everyday outfits. And if this is not enough, I also have 2 bonus steps I'll share at the end for those days where I want to feel extra special. The first step sounds like a drilling exercise, but it's very important, and that is to tuck and roll. And the idea behind this is once you put every single piece on your body, instead of just leaving everything as it is, you want to scan your outfit and think about where you can tuck and where you can roll, because that's going to make a huge difference already. So when it comes to tucking, you want to create a rule of thirds in your outfit because that is going to look very fashionable and very flattering. So in case you haven't heard about rule of thirds, very quickly, you want to split your outfit, your body proportion into thirds. So the top is going to be 1/3 and then the bottom is going to be 2/3. And that's all that you need to know. And then you can use your tops and your bottoms to play with this rule and create this illusion. What I personally love to do with my tops is a good French tuck or even a full tuck, especially with my high-waisted items. I think that looks amazing. And then in the warmer months, I also love my crop tops because they so effortlessly create this illusion of thirds. But then if you don't really have a lot of crop items in your wardrobe, or you want to use this crop effect even when it's colder, I have an amazing hack that is going to change everything. And you can simply use an elastic band that you put on your waist, and then you can fully tuck your jumpers in. You can again create a French tuck, you can create a full tuck. You can use this in the winter, you can use it in the summer, you can use winter jumpers over summer dresses. You can make so many different combinations, but just a simple elastic band, I personally created mine myself. It's gonna make a huge difference, and you can have this crop effect without even buying anything specially cropped. And then when it comes to rolling, we have to look at our sleeves and also our bottoms and how they end to assess if you want to roll up something or just leave it as is. My personal rule is that if you have something that it's a little bit oversized, like an oversized blazer or even like a trench coat, something that is just a little bit bulky, and you feel that you want to have a little bit more silhouette and you want to look a little bit more put together, in this situation, feel free to roll up the sleeves. And I have another hack here. In case the sleeves are not gonna stay in place, you can use an elastic for your hair to keep everything tight, but just make sure the elastic is not super tight. Otherwise, you're gonna stop your blood flow, which is a no-no. But if you have a loose elastic, this is gonna be perfect. And then you just wanna roll up your sleeves and use the elastic to keep everything in place. And in case you're not sure if the outfit requires rolled up sleeves or not, you can always do a little test. Take a picture in the mirror without rolling your sleeves, and then take another picture after you've rolled up your sleeves, and just assess which one looks better to your eye. And then the second role we have to talk about is our bottoms, because again, that's gonna create a huge difference. And if you roll your bottoms or not, it hugely depends on the type of shoe that you're wearing. So my personal rule is that if I'm wearing something with an open ankle, so something like flat ballerinas or loafers or even sneakers that are low, in this situation I would have my bottoms rolled up because I would showcase my shoes a little bit better. Everything would look just a little bit more proportional, like I'm more relaxed and appropriate for spring and summer. But then on the other hand, if I have something that is a little bit higher, like ankle booties or combat boots, in this situation I wouldn't do anything because I would like to connect everything together, especially if I'm wearing darker colors. Because if we have, let's say, a dark bottom with dark shoes and then we roll something up to create a crop effect, it's not gonna look very flattering, it's gonna split us in our leg, and it's just not gonna look nice. So that's my rule of thumb. But again, if you're not sure about this, you can always do a little test. Keep your bottoms as they are, take a picture, and then try rolling a few pieces here and there, and then take another picture and make an assessment for yourself. And then once you're happy with your proportions, then step 2 is to add a belt to your outfit, which I think is such an underrated tip, but it's gonna make a huge difference. Your outfit is gonna be elevated, you're gonna look put together, but at the same time, it's not gonna look like you put too much effort into the outfit, and it's not gonna look over top. That's why I just love my belt so much, and I have a nice little selection. But I have to mention that when it comes to dresses, I don't really wear my belts all that much because with dresses, it's a little bit harder to create that rule of thirds, especially depending on when the dress ends. So if you're not sure, don't worry about dresses and belts. Just wear your dresses normally, but then for all of your other bottoms, jeans and pants and skirts and shorts, everything that has a belt hoop, in those situations, you want to add a belt most of the time. time. And just in case you're not sure what kind of belt to pick with which kind of outfit, I have 2 guidelines that I personally like to follow. The first one is my favorite, and that is to look at the color of your bottoms. If it's something that it's a little bit darker, like dark wash jeans, black jeans, maybe gray jeans, maybe brown jeans, something in a darker shade, go for a darker belt as well, because it's gonna keep everything proportional and very, very flattering. And then on the other hand, if you have something in a lighter wash, maybe light wash jeans or white jeans or beige jeans, something like that, go for a lighter belt as well, because again, it's gonna look very flattering and proportional. So this is my favorite guideline, but then I also have another one, and that is, instead of looking at the bottoms, look at your tops. So if you're wearing, let's say, medium wash jeans, but then you have a black top, feel free to wear a black belt, because again, you're gonna connect everything together and it's gonna look very flattering. Or if you have a lighter top, go for a lighter belt as well. And it doesn't matter what kind of bottoms you're wearing. So these are my 2 favorite guidelines that I like to follow. Also, I have a 3rd guideline when it comes to dresses, in case you want to play with that. Again, match your belt with the color of the dress that you're wearing, because in this situation, you're less likely to mess the proportions up and it's going to be much more flattering and you have more room to make mistakes in that kind of way. So these are my favorite guidelines. But then of course, sometimes I just like to wear whichever belt that I want with whichever bottom and my top, because that's really fun. And in case you want to do that as well, feel free to experiment. Just keep in mind that every time you add a belt that it's in a different color to your bottoms and your tops, you're gonna split your proportions, you're gonna create a line in your body. So make sure that you place the belt in the right spot so you have that rule of thirds and that it's still very, very flattering. And then the 3rd thing that I like to do every single day when it comes to my outfits, and that is to accessorize, accessorize, accessorize. And the reason I'm saying it 3 times is because that is how important it is. And one of the most obvious way how you can do this is of course with jewelry. If you add earrings and necklaces and watches and bracelets, you're gonna just make your outfit so much more fun and so much more interesting. And also, if you want to look a little bit more put together, pay attention to the metal that you're picking. So if you have a belt, let's say with a gold buckle, go for gold jewelry, or the opposite, if you picked a silver buckle, go for silver jewelry. Everything is just gonna look a little bit more cohesive this way. But of course, you can always mix and match as well. It really depends, but just a little tip here. And then when it comes to the quality of jewelry, it really depends on your personality, because I feel with jewelry, you can layer and you can just really go over the top, or you can keep it really minimal. It really depends on your personality, but here you don't have to police yourself or stop yourself. You want to express your personality as best as you can. But then let's say you're not a huge fan of jewelry. Now in this situation, you can still accessorize and elevate your outfit with other things. Like maybe you can paint your nails in a really nice color, like I'm wearing a red nail polish that is just gonna elevate my outfit and make it a little bit more fun. Or you can add a fun little lipstick or create a fun little makeup. You can also play with your hair. Your hair and makeup and nails can also count as accessories to your outfit, so make sure you pay attention to those as well. One of the biggest mistakes that I made when I was younger is that I put a lot of effort into my outfit, but then I neglected my hair and makeup. So no matter how cool my outfit looked, because I was kind of a little bit of a mess on top, I didn't look put together at the end. As I said, this 3-step method is something I use every single day for every single outfit, but then I have 2 extra steps for those days when I want to feel extra special that I'm gonna share in a moment. But before I do, I just wanted to ask you that if you're enjoying this video, that you give it a thumbs up. And also if you have any of your own tips that you personally like to use to elevate your daily outfits, I would love to hear them down below. Thank you! Okay, now let's talk about what to do when you want to feel extra special. And for that, I have step number 4, and that is to add a power piece to your outfit. Now, what is a power piece, or pieces if you want to do multiple, which why not? A power piece is an item that we identify that it's going to make us feel like $1,000,000. And this is what we're going for, $1,000,000 and nothing less. And when it comes to these power pieces, I want to mention that they're going to be very, very personal to you. This is something where we can really express our personality. My power pieces are going to be probably very much different than yours, but I'm going to give you some examples so you can see how this works. Let's say you created an amazing outfit with all of the 3 steps that I mentioned before, but you still feel like today you want to take it the extra mile. and you have a hat in your collection that you know every time you wear it, you just feel so great, and then you put it on, you can immediately see that you elevated your outfit and made it a little bit more special. So in this situation, a hat would be your power piece. Or maybe you have a really special handbag that you know every time you wear it, you just feel amazing. Maybe you have shoes like that, or scarves. I personally love my scarves in the winter. I know when my outfit feels just a little bit boring and then I put a scarf on, boom, elevated, I feel amazing. So obviously think about your accessories and which of them are really your power piece that you can count on every single time. But then you also want to look at your outerwear, because again, you're gonna have your base outfit, and if you have the right outerwear piece or a jacket, you're gonna elevate everything. I personally know that when I want to feel confident and successful and on top of the world, I'm gonna wear a blazer, no questions asked. I can always rely on a blazer to make me feel amazing. So now that you know how this works, you can go through your own items and identify those power pieces. So when you're in a pinch, when you're in a rush, you know exactly what to grab that will make you feel confident and amazing. And then step number 5 is one of my favorites because I use it all of the time, and that is to change your outfit to monochrome. So yes, in this situation, you're gonna actually have to change some pieces that you're already wearing into a different color. But if you wanna look put together and amazing and on top of the world, it's gonna be very much worth it, because tonal monochrome outfits are so stylish, so polished, so elegant. You can never ever go wrong with them. And also when you do a tonal monochrome outfit, you don't have to worry about rule of thirds of the proportions that much, because everything is kind of in the same shade. So if after you created the outfit with all of the 3 steps or even the 4th step and you still feel like you can do better, you want to take it even further, go monochrome, because as I said, it's going to make a huge difference to the outfit. And also one thing that I want to mention here is that when it comes to tonal outfits, a lot of people believe that shades have to match perfectly, and that's why they don't even try to create a monochrome outfit in the first place. But I'm here to tell you that that's actually not true. You can still have a tonal outfit with a lot of the different shades. You can even match whites with off-whites, with maybe even light grays or some light beiges, and it's still gonna look amazing. So don't worry about the shades matching perfectly. You just want to have everything in the same kind of color family. And I personally believe that when shades don't match perfectly, the outfit is actually a lot more interesting, structured, and fun. So that's quickly about the tonal outfits. But then if you want to learn even more, I have another video where I talk about how to elevate and style monochrome outfits that you can watch right here. That's it for today. Thank you for stopping by, and I will see you next time.